I remember back in, I think it was 2000 or 2001, we had the Shock Classic Mustangs. I think it was the first time that, with Reebok, I think it was the first time that a hip hop artist had an actual shoe named after them. I still have the shoes. I have the red ones, the blue ones, and the all white ones. And then we went further, and then we did the high top with Junkyard Dog, Jerome Williams did that. I remember people used to have the cutouts at Athletes World. And then we did one with the female one, and Julie Black had one. So we did we had our own shoe with Reebok. I don't know, way before everybody else was doing shoes. We had a Bell phone card. We had all these things that we were doing, and it's awesome to just have all of that stuff that's going on. And if you could find them, go and keep them, because some memorabilia to have. Word up.
Today, we're showing love to none other than Toronto rap icon, Choclair. Last weekend, he attended Driftwood Community Center for an event for the kids. In this Throwback Files, we go into the vault with Choclair's interview at YouTube Space Toronto with Worldwide Entertainment TV.
So I'm here with Canadian hip-hop artist Choclair. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hip-hop artist from Toronto, started out doing freestyles back in the day, doing the freestyle circuit. Not even the circuit, but like where people used to come to your high school.
I know you started rap at a really young age, 11. Is that when you started rapping in high school? And how did you really get into the hip-hop scene?
Well, my brother, he was the guy on the block when I used to live over at Markham and Eglinton. So people used to come up to me and be like, "You're going to be like they used to call me Junior."
Okay,
and
like your brother.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Yo, Junior, you're going to do like your brother." And at that point, I wasn't really into it. I just like music, though. I love music. And I went to this party over at Markham and Eglinton. I think the building was called 3181. I can't fully remember if that's the right one. It's a corner building on the corner of Markham and Eglinton. I went to a basement party that they did in the rec room over there. And I just dropped some lyrics and whatever. And somebody said, "You're good." And I said, "Okay." And then I just stuck at it. And then I just started doing that, and I just stuck with it and kept moving.
And you're still doing things. You're touring right now in Canada. Where have you performed, and who have you performed with?
Oh, I performed with a lot of people. That I've I performed with Red and Math. I performed with James Brown. I performed with Ghostface. I performed with Gangstar. I performed with DMX. I performed with a whole lot of people.
Pretty crazy to be performing with people that large. What inspires you when you're rapping? Do those people inspire you, or?
Well, the raps inspire me because I grew up on 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
So his hip hop was where it was like you had to have something back when everybody knew every single lyric on the album. So like what the album from Redman or Method Man's album or EPMD's album or Biggie's Ready to Die album. You knew every song and you knew every lyric on that album.
Hip hop has changed a lot from the 90s. Do you like the direction it's going now? And what do you think about the new rappers today?
Well, I think they're good, and it's changed, and things are always going to change. Like I'm sure the people that came up in the game in the 80s, like in the 90s, it may have changed and whatever, and things change. But the one thing that doesn't change is authenticity.
I feel today rappers have a lot of originality, and they're coming with a lot of different styles, and they're mixing genres of music, and I feel like it's really creative.
It is very creative, but like one thing that I do catch one thing that I wish that would change is I was watching some interview, and I don't remember who it was, but they asked them, they said, "Do you know who Biggie or Jay-Z or one of the big major artists from back in the day?" And they said, "No, I don't even know who they are." And I'm like, how do you not know who they are?
You gotta know.
You gotta know who these people are.
Like my dad, while he was training me, he made me study old school legends like Biggie and Tupac and Rage, Lady of Rage, and all those legends from before. Because you have to really know your roots if you're gonna.
If you're gonna know where you're gonna go, no one's saying to copy what they're doing. But if you're gonna know where you're gonna go, you gotta know your history.
You gotta study the people that did it.
Yeah, because those are the people that made it popular and cool. That's why, because hip hop used to be a subculture. They used to call it black music, then they changed it to urban music. Now it's pop music, but it started so far underground. And then you need to know who are these guys that came up all the way back. Like, I'm not saying, okay, you need to know every album from Kool Mo D or Kool Herc, but you got to know who those guys are, because those guys are the people. And it's the same as almost like even just in black culture. You got to know who are the people. You got to know who Rosa Parks is. You got to know who Malcolm X is. You got to know who Martin Luther King is. You got to know who these people are, because those are the people that sat there and made things possible for you today. And unfortunately, in my opinion, I think some people think that those things are not something to really go and think about, because they're just about what's going on now. And the people that go and sit there and will become successful in this day and age of where the music is that they will know who their past history is in Canada and in hip hop in general, because there's a lot of people that put a lot of work down. Like me, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't a Maestro, if there wasn't a Mishimi, if there wasn't a Ghetto Concept, if there wasn't a Dream Warriors, if there wasn't a Kish, if there wasn't, an Infinite, if there wasn't all these different Boiling Point, Concrete Mob, like all these different groups.
Yeah.
Like I can name them off. And that's just Canada.
What do you think about the content of today rappers? Because it kind of changes. They're talking about different things now. Content's kind of...
I'm cool with content. You know, people rap about what they want to rap about.
That's true.
You know, so I'm cool with content. I think, though, that there's space. And for people who go and take that space, it's like everybody's partying and jamming and turned up right now.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because like when we go out and we want to go and have a good time, we want that. Everybody, jam, jam. But there's space for people to go and sit there and give something to somebody's mind. Food for your soul.
That's what I always think. There's different categories.
Yeah. And then the one thing is that you got to remember, I was talking to a rock friend of mine who, because like, you know, you meet some older people and they sit there and they watch and they listen to classic rock.
Yeah.
And they're still listening to Led Zeppelin and the old rock and roll guys. And they're like, you know, like they were talking about something, American Woman. Like I remember I was hearing that Lenny Kravitz redid the American Woman. I think it was The Who or Who. And if I'm making a mistake, sorry. Don't tweet me like I'm making a super mistake. I know it was, there was a Canadian band that did it, and it was American Woman. It was talking about, we don't want that. And they were talking about the politics of America being put on Canada. Songs like that, and to where Lenny Kravitz now go and remake it. And they're talking about it. Those songs have merit. And what I'm talking about is certain songs that feed your soul will always last longer than the songs that you do for now.
Talking about song content, what do you rap about in your songs, and do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on?
Yeah, like one of the songs that really go and sit there and resonate with a lot of people is 21 Years that I did. Because I talked about me up into my 21th year. I actually wrote it when I was 20. I guess I was foreseeing everything. So, but I wrote it, but I called it 21 Years. Then I wrote Let's Ride.
Right. I always heard that song on the radio. I never knew. I didn't know it was you. I didn't make the connection in my head. And then I was looking you up and I was like, oh, that's Choclair.
You know what? And that happens a lot. Like people will be like, I did a show the other day. I was out in Alberta or somewhere, and I did a show, and then I'm doing all these songs. And I remember somebody in the front row, they're sitting there and they're like, I know this song. Oh, that's him?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it's like, because you're real with your songs. You can party. I love partying. I love to have a good time with everybody. I like to jam and sit there and have a good time. But food for your soul. Those are the things that, why do people, like, when's the last time you heard a new song from Lauryn Hill? But why do we love Lauryn Hill? Because she gives stuff that people go and can feel. And those are the songs that last forever because they're emotional. Music is emotional. There's two things that I will mention right now, not in the world, but two things that I'll mention right now that is emotional to people: food and music. When you're hungry. And
you're currently trying to work something out with that, right?
Absolutely.
The food and the music, how they go together?
Absolutely, yeah, because when you're hungry and you feel in the vibe, you break up with your girlfriend, your boyfriend or something like that, then you eat, you go in, girls might go for chocolate, guys, they might go for a taco. Yeah, but when you want to hear songs, then you might go and listen to the old rock ballads of, like Bon Jovi, I'll Be There For You, or Wanted Dead or Alive or something like that. One of those songs, because they're emotional and they bring out your emotion. And those are the things that I want to do with music, whether happy or sad. It's like You gotta go and just be like, and those are the things that touch people. And music, it touches people in a very emotional way. And those are the reasons why people will love songs for the end of the day. You know, like I go on stage. I was talking with Maestro the other day, and he said to me, he said, and he always talks to me, it's like, yo, B, like, oh, very old school. Like, yo, B, you know, you gotta go in, when you're doing your thing, make sure you always do Let's Ride. Don't matter what they're saying, always do Let's Ride. Do Rubbin', do this song, because always do whatever. Yeah. Because those are the songs that people grew up with you on, or they vibed with you on, and that's emotionally attached with these people. Me, I do that all the time. Like I do the songs all the time, and I might be thinking, oh, they may not want to hear that song, but then I go.
Part of performing those songs or performing any song.
It's, you know what? It's the fact that I can go up there, and when I go into certain lines, and like I hit a home run to left field, I put the mic out over there, and they say Carter did the Philly,
and the crowd reacts,
and they will sing.
And you vibe off the crowd too. Like a good crowd, I feel like it makes you perform better. Because you vibe off the crowd and the crowd vibes off you.
Absolutely, because, you know, because we do it for ourselves, because a lot of times the music, we use it to express ourselves, not knowing that how we are expressing ourselves might actually connect with a whole bunch of other people that want to express themselves, whether they can or cannot, but like they still connect with the vibes that you're putting out there. And yeah, like they go and do it, and then I go and I sit there and I do these songs, and sometimes I just, with the mic, and I'd be like, Northern Touch. I sit there, I like chilling. Monday Night Raw watching. Me and Danny at the that he uses.
How much music can influence and empower people.
Yeah. And I've heard it over time. Like, so rest in peace, Alicio, because unfortunately he passed away, but he fought strong. And I met him and we sat there and we talked, we had pictures together, and it was great. And he really touched my heart and stuff. And then I would meet people that would go and sit there and hear songs like Skyline. And then they'll be like, I'ma get it my way. That's all I wanna do, just reaching for the skyline where dreams come true. And then they would say, look, that song pushed me through. And, you know, and then when I hear those things, I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know that it was gonna have such a
I didn't know it would have that type of impact on other people, but like it does, you know. But I also know that one of my favorite songs is from Kid Rock. And the song is called Only God Knows Why. And then whenever I'm in a situation or whenever I'm feeling, you know, ways, I sit there, I listen to Kid Rock. And maybe Kid Rock doesn't know. I'm sure he probably knows, because that's a huge song. And I'm sure he tours all around the world and whatever. But he doesn't know about this artist from Toronto that sits there and says, you know, that song got me by through certain situations. Like I sit there and it's like, only God knows why. Like every line relates almost to what I'm going through.
Sometimes I'm listening to a song and like every line is like what you're going through and you really feel.
And that's where I go back to food for your soul. And those are the things that going to go and make you last. Yes, we like to jam. Yes, let's go and sit there and get your ass on the floor. Get your ass on the floor. Of course, we like to go and jam to those songs. But there's songs that actually help people get by. And
have meaning.
They have a meaning. Yes, exactly. They have a meaning. And it's very big. And for artists like myself and other artists, we don't realize until we see it. I had this one guy come up to me the other day. I think he said I met him back in like 2001 or something like that. Had me sign one side of $100 bill. I met him like, I don't know, maybe it was a year ago or maybe a couple of years ago. He comes up and he had it in a case. He's like, yo, I met you back in whatever day it was and you signed this one side. I want you to sign the other side. And I'm like, you still have this $100 bill?
It's weird.
I'm like, I would have spent that, you know? And I'm like, and he's like, I want you to sign the other side of the bill on this date here because I want whatever. This is how much you mean. What you do means to me. And those are the things that keep me going. Like I was content on being I got my classics. I go and I do my shows. Everybody gonna be okay.
But at the end of the day, it's the people you touch.
Yeah, but they like, we want more. We want more. Shocks, we need more. We need you. I did a show at the Sound Academy, and this girl comes up to me, and she says to me, she says, right now, we need somebody like you back in the situation, in the whole mixture of what's going on. Because we have this rap and that rap and this rap and that rap.
Are you currently recording?
I recorded. After that, I recorded. I went and I did a whole album. It's called See Evolution. I'm just figuring out when I'm going to release it. But they bring me back because they go and
They make you.
because they sit there, and that's one example, but there's so many. Everybody on my social media and what I get people coming up to me and telling me all the time, I want this, we need this, we need you to come back and do this and that and whatever. And I'm like, okay. So they kind of bring me there, and it's a good feeling that you actually touched a whole bunch of people in a positive way.
I'm all about positivity. Like, my lyrics are all clean, and I try to be positive, you know, because a lot of rappers, they're all negative. I try to stay on the positive side like you and have more meaningful lyrics.
Well, that's the thing. It's like meaningful lyrics will last longer than the song of the day.
That's true.
The song of the day will be the song of the day. You know, like everything comes in. Like, you know, like people will go and sit there and there'll be the new whatever you can buy in the shopping channel. The new, I don't know, the chair cushion. You can sit on a chair and whatever. But you make a good chair. You don't need a chair cushion. You sitting on there, this is better than the chair cushion. You're just going to sit on it. So you make something that people go and sit there and will vibe with. Those are the things that we vibe with. And it's just, I'm just very happy and cherished that people look at me and my music as something that they really do care about. Because I care about my music, and I take a lot of time and effort, and I think about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it when I do my music. Like, I don't just run in the studio and done, go, put it out, press it, get it out. No, I sit there, and sometimes I vex a lot of people in the studio because I'm like, this line just doesn't work right. Let me just work this line.
I'm picky about that too. Like, you know what you want, and you know how you want it to sound.
Yeah, and I know, and I want to make sure that they get
quality,
it.
Yeah.
They get it. They get what you're trying to say. Whatever line, whether it's a party line, whether it's a serious line, whether it's whatever, you want them to get it.
I think it's refreshing for the ear, like, when you hear rappers that you can actually like hear every line. Because certain rappers, you know, you can't understand every line. But I like being able to hear what they're saying. Yeah,
well, but that's the thing, and that's why it became so popular, and that's why, in my opinion, I think it's going back. Because hip hop, in a way, it's young.
It is.
You know, it started in the 70s, kind of grew up in the 80s, got popular in the 90s, 2000 it started raising. Now it's in the pop, but now it needs to kind of come back around.
You mean by come back?
Like, hip hop can be pop music, but it's not pop music. Hip hop was NWA talking about what's going on in it.
You mean like real?
Hip hop was Public Enemy. But hip hop was also when they used to have, you probably won't know this song, but when they had this song called Do the Pee Wee Herman and then it was jamming, and we were jamming, and what's his name? Cedric the Entertainer. He had with the Kings of Comedy, he had the funny part where he was talking about where people would go in there and they wouldn't fight, but they would fight by battling on the dance floor.
The roots, you think it should go back to where it started?
Yeah, but I'm not saying go back and be back in the 70s.
Yeah.
But like, there's an element of it that's coming back to it. Yeah, and that's where you got people like Kendrick Lamar. That's why older rappers can get with people like Kendrick Lamar, because they sit there and they hear and they're like, this is what we were about. Yeah, you have your song, you have your this song and that song and your party song and whatever, but what you're saying,
he keeps it real, for sure,
is official. Yes, diamonds and jewelry and this and this and baba na mama na mama na mama na mama 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 this.
Snoop was talking about that, how they all rap like that.
Yeah, well, like, you know, like, and I'm not someone to go and sit there. I'm not trying to go and criticize how they doing it. If it works for them, it works for them, and that's good. But that's gonna work now. The realness. The songs that people go back to. When people go back to go and sit there and they listen to Juicy or Hail Mary or Redman's Funkorama or Tribe Called Quest Around the Way Tour or all those songs, they have a difference compared to some songs that are coming out now. That's why those songs, when you go to a club or when you get to go to one of them clubs.
I go to clubs, performs.
But when you go to just jam, when you go to just jam and you hear it and that comes on and then the whole crowd, like, oh, there's a reason why those songs stand out compared to whatever is what's popping now. Because there's an authenticity, if I'm saying that right, authenticity to it, and there's more to it than just it being like, oh, I'm just doing a song today. And those are the things that go and connect with people all the time. And that's what I would love to see, especially from artists from here, because it's so hard to get it from here. Although right now there's a big light shining.
Right now,
Toronto.
yeah, everyone's watching Toronto.
Everybody,
Party Next Door, Top 5. We got lots of artists right now.
yeah, so there's a big light shining on here. So we need to go and make sure that these artists are showing that other side. Not just we're gonna go and do something that's gonna rock your party that night. Something that's gonna go and stay with you for a lifetime.
For sure.
And then that's where it is, because I'm still listening to Rick James, lifetime. I'm still listening to James Brown, lifetime. I'm still listening to Public Enemy, lifetime. I'm still listening to EPMD, lifetime. I'm still listening. I can go on and on and on and on and on.
And don't forget to check out more OG Worldwide Entertainment TV media interviews like you just saw. Of course, you can catch more interviews on this channel here.